Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
We are back, having a great time as usual.
Well, sometimes we don't want to come back. The conversation and the break is, it's so great.
Exactly, especially with me when you do a Freudian slip and then you have to correct it during the break.
Exactly. But, we had a nice segue when Carol was talking and Dave were talking about, what the future of real estate looks like. So kind of expand on what you think it's going to look like. And Tamara, you're being kind of quiet back there, and that's not in your style.
She's being very quiet. She's reached for the mic a couple of times.
And I'm just going to.
I think we need to introduce her first, and then more importantly,
we did introduce her. Tamara Mannen. Yes, we did.
Okay, again,
pay attention.
We've been speaking so much. That's why.
And Tamara's got a background also as a team leader for Keller Williams, and then she decided to go have babies for a while, and then once real estate gets in your blood, you can't leave it. So she's back. And she couldn't have got herself with a better group.
It's funny. It's rare that I stay clear from a microphone. I just kind of gravitate towards them.
Okay.
But you guys are talking about such great things that, I want to make sure they get right. But I will talk about one thing I wanted to touch on is you asked David in the beginning why some real estate agents are successful and some aren't. And I did want to touch on that. I was also with Keller Williams for like 13 years and with Rob, and we recruited
you were like 10 years old, weren't you?
I know. I started at 10. No, we were responsible for recruiting hundreds and hundreds of agents. And although that brought a great opportunity, what I also saw so many agents fail. Really great people that I thought would be wonderful, but they failed miserably. And when Carol and Dave and I came together and created this model, we were like, why is that? What is it? Well, what I see is real estate agents will pick a company to associate themselves on strictly an economic model, meaning they get to keep more of their commissions. They don't really look at the marketing or the coaching or what's really going to make them successful. So choose a company that is going to promote you and do the things. A real estate agent, think about it. You're the CEO, you're the salesperson, you're the accounting, you're the marketing, you're the conflict negotiator. I mean, you're everything.
And you're janitor.
Exactly. So associate yourself with a strong company. And David Young and Company, what we provide is the marketing platform. Carol is kind of like she's a promoter. She puts these videos together and we write scripts and we make sure we call it Googleability. All of our agents, what's your Googleability? So you can sit at a listing appointment and if you're going up against somebody else, you can say, Google me. And when they see that you and your business are strategic.
20 years ago, if you said Google me, you would have gotten slapped.
Right.
You called me what?
So we saw a need in our industry for a model that provided the marketing and the promotion and the coaching and the training and all of that so that real estate agents can do what they do best, and that's build the relationships. So tying back into the relationships. So they spend their time on the front and we're the backstory, which kind of brings us into where we're going. Once we started David Young Company and really building these agents, we also saw a need for the entire industry to be educated on the innovative processes that the consumer is expecting from the real estate agents. And Carol and I, coming from such a strong training background, just kind of organically started bringing speakers to Houston and opening it up to all of the companies, again, talking about not competing with each other, but completing each other. And we're really excited about the events that we've brought to Houston that we're sharing with all the companies, because at the end of the day, we are passionate about improving our industry as a whole, improving our agents as much as we can. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, Carol, and Young Intelligence. Well, or I could keep talking.
What we did for about a year, I did for about a year before we really rolled out David Young and Company. I actually had what I call a real estate laboratory. And I studied different trends. I studied different cultures. I studied Zappos. I studied Google. I studied so many things. I had focus groups of buyers and sellers. I put everything together, and then what we did after we spent a lot of times saying, what do we want to do? We then put together a standalone company called Young Intelligence, and it's all of our deliverables, that everything from our media to, like she said, getting everybody ready, that they have their Googleability. But what we have found is that there are different agents that would come to us and say, I don't want to leave my company, but I love some of your deliverables. So we actually, next month, will start beta testing Young Intelligence in the Dallas-Fort Worth market with agents that are with other companies so that they can actually select deliverables and we do the bundling for them. And,
describe the deliverables.
Deliverables are in different medias. We have landing pages that are interactive that serve as like websites. So we can have different e-magazines. It might be we have different life magazines that are for different companies, like Eldridge Life. Murad Fiki has Eldridge Life that's coming live, that has everything that's going on in the Eldridge area, that kind of has the feeling of the old Life magazines.
One thing Carol discovered in all of her research was, as you said, HAR is extremely powerful. The majority of your consumers in Houston are going to go to HAR and search for properties. Now, websites are great, and if you want to go spend $10,000 on a website, TamaraMannen.com, that's great. However, for the most part, people are going to go to HAR. So that's where the landing page came in. And the landing page is about your community, and it's a .com, and that way it tags on, to HAR. Associate yourself with these, the power that we have here in Houston. So that's one of our deliverables, is the landing page.
One of our deliverables. And we want to show each of our agents what is their corporate soul. So we have different culture videos and so because consumers want to do business with people that have the feeling, what are you putting back into the community? And so we have got all of that goes on that they can take. And then we still have some print, but make sure that everything supports it. Everything supports everything.
Consistency.
So you have your brand. We help you develop, you being the agent, their own brand. Are you being the builder? Or when we take your listing, at that moment, we develop your brand, which is your home. That's the brand that we're developing now. So we have to know, I think, that we have gotten, in fact, we use a book that's not a recent book, but it's so powerful, and it's Blue Ocean Strategy.
Yeah, great book.
And Blue Ocean Strategy basically is this. For years and years, you would swim in an ocean and agents would go, what's so-and-so doing? Well, we're going to top what the other person. We have jumped out of that red ocean and we're in the blue ocean, and we create uncontested markets. And we are doing things that have never been done before because we keep our eye on the consumer. And what does the consumer want? We're not trying to top what the other agents are doing. We don't care. We wish them luck. What does the consumer want? What are the Fortune 500 companies doing? We want to talk that talk.
One of the things you mentioned, and I love that aspect, people ask me all the time, they say, how are you in relation to this person or that person? I tell everybody I don't know. And it's not something, I don't measure myself against what somebody else is doing. I measure myself against what I did today and where I want to be tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That ultimately, that's one of the things it's absolutely refreshing to hear. Too many times people are trying to it's the one-upmanship, it's the keeping up with the Joneses, it's that, who cares? Do your own thing, be your own person, create your own market, do what makes you happy and do what makes you successful, because that's what's going to end up continuing to grow. If you're always looking about what someone else is doing, you're always chasing. You're not leading.
And you're copying.
Basically. Right. That is correct.
And what works for one group does not necessarily work for another group. Let's kind of open this up. Maybe everybody can talk about this. As we talk about the future of real estate, how it's going to change. Kind of give me some thoughts on that. So, Carol, David, Tamara.
I'm really interested. Mentioning Blue Ocean Strategies, I'm a big fan of that book, and I read all the time, constantly. And that book was recommended to me by a very thought-provoking, industry kind of changing person in the insurance industry. And he said something to me that was really fascinating. He said the average age of an insurance agent is 57. He goes, the average age of our agents in our company is 33. Right.
Yeah.
So he was all about saying we want to flip the dynamic on what an insurance agent is. And he told me about this Blue Ocean strategy book and read that. Real estate has been very much the same for a long, long time. And everybody commonly is approaching the market of real estate is just simply how do I make a better mousetrap, right? Instead of looking at is there an entirely different way to catch a mouse. And I think there's some big changes in the winds coming for real estate, and those agents will be completely blindsided. So I want to hear what you guys have to say on that for sure.
To go along with that, coming up on Monday, we are promoting through Young Intelligence a seminar here with what we feel is the guru of the future in real estate, Stefan Swampel. And it's open to all agents. We're not totally sold out yet, but close to it. So if there's any agents out there that would like to see what the future of real estate looks like, we're going to talk about that in the next segment and what Stefan Swampel brings to the industry.
Is it open just to agents?
Oh, absolutely not. We've got builders.
No, we might let you in.
Yeah.
Now, we only have about 40.
For you, Joe.
Where I'm headed with this.
Well, if you're a consumer and you're interested, listen, it's the largest investment you may make. Look and see. I mean, are you going to be, is your property going to be with somebody that is embracing the audience?
Builders are going to be
in the credit improvement industry.
Right.
Obviously, my industry is very connected to real estate.
Absolutely.
That's where the primary source of our referrals come from. 60% of our business comes from the real estate community. So, we're always very much watching where the industry is headed and what's going on. So,
Well, we only have 40 seats left. So if you would like to come, you would go to youngintelligence.com and you can register through.
Well, I plan on being there after the board meeting and that because I've heard Stefan many times.
He's amazing, isn't he?
He's phenomenal. But you also have a very strong panel that's going to be there.
And that's youngintelligence.com. Mm-hmm. I love it, by the way. It says culture is our brand. I absolutely love that. We are coming up against a break right now.
Got to pay for the show.
Absolutely. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
A little bit of me and a whole lot of you. Add a dash of starlight and a dozen roses too. Then let it rise for 100 years or two. And that's a recipe for making love. It doesn't need sugar, 'cause it's already sweet. It doesn't need an oven, 'cause